Hello, and welcome to Optimal Insights, the podcast that brings you Colorado industry leaders providing their expert insights for senior care. My name's Jeff Mannel. I'll be your host, and I'm the Digital Strategy Manager for Optimal Home Care and Optimal Hospice Care. It's our privilege to be able to bring you this podcast every week. This week, we're going to sit down with Francis LeGassi Jr. He is a man with a breadth of experience. As young as he is, this gentleman has done a lot. And not only does he have amazing experience, he's an innovator, he's a thought leader, and a podcaster. So I've been looking forward to this conversation for quite some time. So I'd like to welcome Francis and you to Optimal Insights. Francis, thank you for taking some time to spend with us today. Really encouraged to have you on the show.
Well, yeah, awesome to be here. So, impressed so far with kind of the traction this has had in such a short time. So it's really an honor to be able to participate and hopefully share some of the insights and challenges that I've seen over the last 14 years of doing aging services or senior living here. So really appreciate it.
Oh man, it's our honor. And that's exactly why we wanted to have you on the podcast, because you have a breadth of experience that most people don't have, and you're so young. So to have somebody with such stature on our show is, I'm humbled, my friend.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. I'm not sure, my wife will always agree with that, but, I think it's fantastic what you're doing. I do think knowledge is so powerful right now, especially in, the space that we're in. And, it's been a wild ride. My business partner and I, Brian Turner, we go way back to Michigan. We both ran on the track team there in the early 2000s, very early 2000s. And, we learned a lot about ourselves at that point from just the tenacity, the dedication to doing things the right way. Michigan has a very high athletic standard as well as academic. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough, I did graduate with a physics degree. I kind of was always on that pre-med track. But Brian and I always talked about doing something together. And lo and behold, we met up in Colorado here, 2009. And, I had at that point had a grandfather that had Parkinson's. Another grandfather had dementia. Brian had a grandmother who had health issues, and his mom was a nurse trying to caregive from remote. And then I saw just family stress and dynamics of just aging parents and, oh my gosh, what is this? And where did this come from? And grandpa was just, my grandfather had Parkinson's, was an awesome guy. And he worked for GM for 50 years back in Michigan, but retired in his mid 70s. And then we think he knew something was kind of going on with his Parkinson's there. And so that's why we think he got out. And then just started seeing the health and mobility issues, and then his frustration, then frustration of my grandmother, and then my mom, and then, the family just kind of all went funky. So we started home care. We were 27 at the time. And we really thought we could make an impact on home care. We were young and, I think tenacious enough that we wanted to have an organization that we could feel confident in, that we were giving back and trying to do things a little bit differently. And then home care, Sevens Home Care was there, and we learned a lot about care. One-on-one care and the importance of that caregiver being there for that person, right? That was what we learned. Because anybody can go spend their money on anybody else. If we didn't do it the right way for the right reasons, they were going to a competitor. Like we didn't have the luxury of not, going above and beyond, making sure we were doing it right by the client and the family. And that has been such an ethos of ours, though, is do it the right way for the right reasons and good things will happen. And that's really, at some of our more challenging or darkest times, that's always been where we've gone back to, is as long as we stay on the right path for the right reasons, we're going to be okay. Might not feel like it, but we're going to be okay.
No, I love that. I mean, the passion just exudes out of you. And I love that. And you actually jumped right into what I was going to ask, because my question was going to be, at 27, what in the world made you think that you could go into healthcare? and you shared it. I mean, you have all these experiences with your family, and you see the needs, and you understand the heart of care and nothing can replace that. You can't. I think healthcare. You don't go into healthcare if you're just looking for a paycheck and just to make some money. You're not going to last, right? It's that passion.
Yeah, it's passion, and I think for us is a confidence, right? It's a confidence we can shape the future of this industry, and I think we're a little able to say that now. When I was 27, that wasn't even a forethought of mine. Mine was like, how are we going to make it the next month? How are we gonna find the staff? How are we going to train the staff to make sure that they're modeling and working in the mission that we want them to be? Right. That was where our head was. But now that we're growing, we as of July, we became the largest residential care provider in Colorado. We have 32 homes. We're licensed for up to 293 residents across from Castle Rock to Arvada. And we cover the spread. We have some traumatic brain injury, some acquired brain injury locations. We have, I'd say, the assisted living with memory support. And then we have our, secured memory care, where we really do well with the behavior, some of the Lewy body, some of the, challenges that a lot of other memory care communities don't want to tackle because they want, pink sweater and all that. We want to give value back to someone living with dementia. And I think I can now say where we are, we want to have a shape on the industry in Colorado. And it's really important that we don't lose sight of that.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to talk a little bit about that. But I also want to mention that you're a Maverick as well. So I want to talk about that because I see you're in your studio. I see the Assured. I want to learn a little bit about Mavericks, and then I want to jump into Assured. You touched on some points there that are very close to my heart and very important because, of course, Optimal Home and Hospice Care, we partner and we are able to take care of a lot of your residents. But the passion for you, it goes far beyond even Assured and Sevens and like kind of these facilities and kind of your career. You've gone out and become really a thought leader in this space, sharing your experience and insights with others. So tell us a little bit about Mavericks, what that's all about.
So Mavericks, the whole concept, I work with Catherine Wells on that, who's the founder of Serenity Engage.
I know
She's
Catherine.
a HIPAA compliant communication app that we've been using for 4.5 years now. It's been phenomenal for us. Our team does almost 3,000 messages a month through that app now, which is pretty cool. But I remember meeting her, and our first idea was like, we've got to have these harder discussions, about aging, about senior living, about all those different components, but also bring it back to who's doing some cool things that aren't being talked about mainstream, right? So our idea is like, let's try to find those people on the cusp or people that aren't, really that engaged, about the norm, about, all these awesome little startups that are happening that are going to have a huge impact and bring attention to them through a podcast that we do, a video podcast or a podcast, depending on what, platform you're on now, because you got Facebook, Instagram, so many platforms right now.
Everywhere. That's true.
And so that's the idea. And then we fortunate enough to link up the last 2 years. We've done the collaboration in aging in Colorado. And it's been an awesome event. We brought two other organizations together, the Colorado Assisted Living Association and what they call themselves COPRA, which is the Colorado Placement Referral Alliance, together to bring the industry and how we break these silos and improve the way we serve those older adults. Yeah. And that's it. And that's kind of where the ideas come from and where we've run with and trying to use that to just better the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I love it. And there's some synergy there with what we want to accomplish, even with Optimal Insights. And we talked about this the other day. I don't want these conversations to just be a big hug and we tell each other how amazing each other is. I mean, that's great. I love that partnership, but we have to talk about real issues because seniors and their families go through so much as they're moving into an assured home or going into a facility or just needing the care at home. And we want to be able to bring them insights to help them through that. So kind of back to Assured now. When you started with Assured, how many homes were there?
We started one. We started with a home in Lakewood.
Oh, you just started? Really? You just started with one. And you're
and then we did an acquisition. We acquired the Assured, which we swallowed their brand up because we like the A better, Assured, we acquired them in 2017. And then in 2021, we did another acquisition of 6 homes in Arvada. And then in July of 2023, we acquired 16 homes. So that's kind of the pattern we had today. And we've learned a lot in every acquisition.
Yeah, I bet. And these homes are, just to as somebody kind of from the outside, as I was working with hospice, I would go and meet families in your homes and sit down with, Joe's son and talk through, have kind of the whole hospice conversation. And these homes are, man, they're in beautiful neighborhoods. You wouldn't know your home from any other home, except that it has a ramp in the front. It's pretty much the only giveaway. So they get to live in a neighborhood, live life, really live life in a neighborhood, be a part of a community. And you got great staff. These homes are beautiful. They're clean. They're well taken care of. And so that's no small thing to go from one home to, I'm assuming every one of your homes is like that in a neighborhood. All these that you acquired?
Correct. They are exactly like that. Every acquisition we have to put our TLC on it. A lot of them aren't up to our standards. I'd say that we have some pretty high standards, both for how we staff, how we train our staff. Our big ethos is we want 2 caregivers in that house for 8 or 9 residents, up to, maybe even 10, depending on the licensing. So a lot of our competitors, they'll run 1 to 12, 1 to 8, 1 to 10. Like that doesn't do it for us. So we're slowly shifting our current acquisitions to get 2 caregivers in every house. There are a good number now, not all of them yet, but our goal is to get them all where we're having 2 people in that house for 8 or 9 people. That is awesome. That's where that's the power that we have, is we're not overloading our staff, so they stay around conveniently, right? You have good partnerships like with Optimal, where our team can call the therapist, hey, something's off with Jill today. Can you guys come? You've got a PT session later, but just so you know, something's not clicking, and we can, use that as a resource, that we're not only doing non-medical support for that person, for that social component, emotional, but we've got great medical support from PTs coming in to improve mobility, OTs retraining someone how to maybe get in and get out of a shower. Right? All those little things we might take for granted, but in our model of semi non-medical plus external medical, right, in Colorado, how it's licensed, right, it gives us this ability to create this like circle, which is pretty cool, right? Of everybody around.
I love that. That's where I think these partnerships are so important, because working together, it allows us to deliver the absolute best care. Because our teams, like for instance, like our hospice team at Optimal uses Serenity and communicates back and forth with your team all throughout the day. There's communication happening, and I've shared this with others. I don't care who you are, what your background is, socioeconomic, whatever. Everybody deserves the best care. I mean, at that stage of life, everybody deserves the exact same, the best care, and we can only do that together. If it was just you, there'd be holes. If it was just us, there'd be holes, right?
Again, I think if you look at it like this, right? Care circle. A circle doesn't have a hole, right? And in that circle, at the center of that circle, is that client, that patient, that resident who we're serving. But around that has to be every component working in unison to bring them what they need when they need it. I think that's the key. It's not when it's convenient for us.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think that's so often overlooked in the staffing shortage, all that stuff. That's the thing that I can promise you with our team, is our team and structure is set up to serve our residents when they need it. Yeah. That's why we staff 1 to 4, 1 to 5. That's why we enable our staff to spend 15, 20 minutes, of one-on-one time, an hour if they need, because we believe the personal connection far outweighs anything else. Like it just matters. And it gives our team to give your team good reports. Hey, this is what we're seeing because we spent the extra time. We weren't rushing to get to the other client or the other patient, right? A resident, however you want, depending on the terminology you're using. Sure. And I think that's what's often overlooked, is we get so focused on that we've got to do it convenient for X or convenient for Y. But honestly, all that matters is that person. We're there to serve them and our team. And I think we've got to get back to that. I feel like that's being lost.
I agree wholeheartedly. So Francis, in your experience going from, all the way back to one home, what are some of the insights? What are some of the things that you've learned watching so many families bring their loved ones in? It's emotional. It's challenging.
I think number one is grace. Give yourself as a family caregiver the grace
Mm.
and the ability to say, man, I am doing a great job. Because I think far too often, the people I connect with, the families, it's always, well, I could do more. Or I could do this. Sure, 100%. Fine. You can always try to think you can do more. But what I think it comes down to is you're there for your person. And that 90% of the time is more than enough, if not 95%. So I say, number one, give yourself some grace. You don't have to give yourself a pat on the back. Just give yourself some grace. And I always say this, number two, there's hope. A firm belief of mine is dementia is not the end, but a change in the ending. And that's okay. It's scary. It sucks. But it's not our story to write. So we need to be there to help our loved one navigate this new ending, whatever that may be, and give ourselves again that grace to accept that, right? And
man, I got to jump in here for a second. You just touched a nerve for me or a memory. We just lost my wife's brother recently, less than 2 years ago. He was 57 and early onset Alzheimer's.
I'm sorry.
And oh no, but I just got to tell you what you said about the ending. And when he was alive, he was kind of an anxious, uptight guy.
Okay.
When Alzheimer's set in with him, he became the sweetest guy you've ever met in your whole life. I mean, and for my wife, when we got to spend time with him, in his last year and all this, it was almost like a brand new relationship that she got to share with him, his whole personality, because all the anxiety went away and all the frustration. And it was this beautiful thing. So I love how you said that. It's just a new ending. You didn't know. Right. It's not what you wrote. It's not the story that you wanted to write. It's the cards that you were dealt. But being able to do that, and I think what you're offering, being able to do that in community with caregivers and staff that don't just care for them, they love them, right? They're compassionate, they love these people, and they get to be with them in this kind of new chapter of their life. So I just wanted to stop you there because I thought it was beautiful how you said that.
I appreciate you sharing that, Jeff. I mean, I think that's part of what I think has to change, right? Is dementia is dementia. It sucks, but it's okay that it sucks, right? I mean, it's okay to do hard things in life, right? And I think as a society, we've got to learn to support those that have these brain changes, right? And not look at this as ostracizing them, or, oh, you can't go out in public, or what if you do that at dinner? So what if they do that at dinner? Like, who cares, right?
Exactly.
Let's get out in the community, because the more we get people in the community, the more we realize it's okay to be different. Right. And so I think that's another, I'd say number three is it's okay to be different. It's okay that your loved one acts funky or does this weird thing at dinner where he, uses two utensils at the same time. Who cares? You're out socializing. They're hearing that stimulus, right? That's cool.
Yep.
Good engagement between the staff and all the residents. Because I think that's, some of the things that aren't always there. Do they have good in-house therapy? What are they doing when someone has a potential stumble, tumble, fall, right? Are they getting resources immediately? I mean, with us, any new resident that moves in with us, I'm getting a PTOT speech order, at least getting the eval, right? Seeing, can we improve their independence?
That's right.
Not just settling for, oh, they were at home, they were pretty strong. Well, let's see if we can get them stronger.
Yeah.
Because we all know the minute you lose some of that mobility, you're kind of maybe not the happiest person, right? Because you can't get out of that chair by yourself. You can't get in the shower by yourself. And especially for some people, like, God, this sucks. I don't want somebody always have to help me on the toilet.
Right.
So if we can find ways with, using the therapists that we have with Optimal and the speech therapists, improve all these things, it's pretty cool what you can do to give value and empowerment back to someone's life.
Totally agree. And you know what? One of the things that I love that we're able to offer through hospice, and I don't know if you've been able to witness this, is we have music therapists.
Oh, yeah.
And
we love it.
They come in, right? They come in and they sing songs from, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. And we got people that are nonverbal for the most part during the day, and they're singing word for word the songs with the therapist, I mean, it brings tears to my eyes when I see it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just the most beautiful, amazing thing. And so being able to partner with you and, bring these services to your residents and to work with your team is a great thing. Go ahead.
It really is. And you actually just brought a memory back for me too. So my grandfather that had Parkinson's, he took a wicked fall in his house. He didn't use his walker. Did one of the freeze, fell back and shattered his fourth and fifth vertebrae. They did a 12-hour back surgery on him. He never left the hospital, but I remember when you brought the music therapy up about hospice, the day that we kind of took him off, the vent and things like that. He passed really quickly, but what was really cool is like for that about 45 minutes, we kind of was a whole procedure to take somebody off a vent when you knew this was it. Right. Yep. We had a musician came in and part of hospice that we had back in the hospital, and they played for everybody there. My mom was there. I was there. We had a ton of family right around. But that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool memory. Now, when you brought hospice and music, I, just kind of linked those two, and it's a good way to bring everyone together and kind of support that transition, right? That next journey for that person, right? Don't care what faith you are, there's a journey there potentially, right? Some way, somehow. And it was really there to be there to support, the surviving, family to be like, it's okay now. He's going to be okay and we're going to be okay. So it's pretty cool.
I'm really glad you got to have that experience.
It's pretty powerful.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, as we kind of close up here, I wanted to give you some time to just tell us a little bit about Assured. Let's say I've got, we've probably got people listening that have family members or friends that are going to be looking for a place in the near future. What does moving into an Assured facility, an Assured home, what does that process look like? How do they make that happen?
Yeah. So, obviously, number one is we want to show you what we do. We do things a lot differently than what you're kind of used to. A lot of people don't get that. When they drive up to us, they go, "You're a house?" I'm like, well, sort of, So I always say, come see what we do. Come see the love we can give when you're in that smaller community. And what's really powerful is our homes are like functional families, 7, 8 people. That's like a family unit where you have consistent caregivers. I want you to see how we interact, how we engage, how we empower, because we have, a lot of our homes, residents will help with chores, set the table, do some laundry. They'll have those life skills still because that's part of who they are. And we have a wide range from, mild cognitive impaired houses to definitely really advanced. So we have options for you to kind of even age with us, right? If you need more care, it's not like you're going to get the boot and good luck. It's, let's see if this house might be a better fit. Plus, a lot of our homes are Medicaid and Innovate certified. So families never have to worry about running out of funds. Like that's a big ethos of ours. Now that we're the largest, I should say, we want to really be there for someone economically. Like if they've been with us for 2 or 3 years and all of a sudden like, hey, the money's kind of out. Well, let us figure out how that can work moving forward. So they can give us a phone call, go to our website, assuredassistedliving.com, and we're happy to show them the difference that, we can do and the way we can love on people. It's pretty powerful.
That's great. And I'll put all that information in the show notes. So if you're watching, you can find the phone number, the website address down there. We want to make sure that you get connected. Francis, what a pleasure it's been to talk with you today. Thanks for taking some time out of your incredibly busy schedule to spend this time with us. So really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything that Optimal does. And I think this is a fantastic platform that you guys are, shifting into because we need education now more than ever, right? As this aging journey gets a little more complicated.
It is. And I'm going to have your fellow Maverick on in January.
Very cool.
Yeah, Catherine Wells is going to join in January.
Awesome.
So
it'll be fun. You'll have a good time.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you all. And thank you all for joining us today. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel. We really look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.